Ciao from Sicily. It's been a while since I recorded and uploaded a video here, so hopefully I haven't forgotten how this works. Last week, my longest time employee, who once said that he will never leave the company, told me that he's quitting. And this was right before I was about to leave for this trip. This was a long planned family trip to Sicily. So it was an interesting timing for hearing such news. And it's funny because, we had a long 4 hour conversation about why he's leaving, what made him decide to do that. And honestly, it was a long overdue conversation. He had been keeping this for a while. I'm glad we did it. In general, I think that's the healthy thing to do. He should try to find a better fit for him at this point in time. The company is very different than what it was when he started. But still, knowing all that, it didn't feel great, of course. But there was also this anxiety that I was feeling, which was, I don't know, weird. Felt weird. And the conversation kind of led to me understanding that there were a couple things that I had kind of missed, and I wanted to record this video so that maybe if some of you guys are in a situation like this could give you a little bit more of a, something to think about. Maybe you can figure this out sooner than I did. First of all, the first several years of the company, we had a big upswing, but then things rapidly started going down. We almost went bankrupt. I have recorded videos about this before. You can go watch them. I managed to revive the company with the help of the people that are working in the company. But then after this period of craziness went away, I said I'm going to grow the company. And I was supposed to go grow the company doing sales and marketing and business development and stuff like that. But I didn't actually do that. Sure, I did some stuff, like it was not 100% not doing anything, but it wasn't what I said I was doing to everyone else, but also to myself. I think the reason is that I was just burnt out from all this craziness before this period. I was just burnt out. We had this moment when things were going well and I felt comfortable, so I decided that maybe it's okay to pull back a little bit and take a little break, because apparently that's what I needed. So I was telling everybody that I'm working on different stuff, but what I was actually doing was just taking a break. I was just burnt out. I hadn't figured it out. I wasn't able to admit it to myself. And it was not just this one employee. We had 3 people actually leave the company in the past 4 or 5 months, which has never happened unless the periods when things were really bad. So like I said, anxiety was kicking in. This was probably partly because we were just about to leave. We had some other issues personally, and this was going on. I didn't have enough time to handle the situation. So I started feeling this anxiety. But last time we traveled, which was actually the first vacation we took, like proper vacation we took in 2 years maybe. So last time we traveled, we had a lot of issues. Our cat got sick, like really sick, right before we had to leave. We thought we had kind of handled this situation, but then the night before we had to leave, our apartment basically caught on fire, and it turns out the main breaker switch had failed, and it was just starting to catch on fire. We managed to handle that situation. We found some emergency help and things like that. But this anxiety, obviously the body very quickly got used to it. So now I'm traveling, there's a lot of situations that I need to handle in a short period of time, which I don't necessarily have the capacity to handle because it's not something that happens in a matter of a couple of hours. So this anxiety started to kick in. And it kind of stayed with me throughout the travel. Also, the hours after the conversation, the next day, I had enough time to sit down with my thoughts and kind of think through what's going on. It kind of continued even after we got here. My point here is that this anxiety had a few different layers to it. First of all was that fear of, oh no, things are going wrong, I don't have enough time to fix them. which was probably related to this situation on our previous journey. Then the next part was the fact that business is failing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix it and things like that. But then once I started thinking things through, such layers like the one I already shared, which was I was just burnt out. And I was telling everyone I was working on other stuff when I was actually just taking kind of a break, if you know what I mean. Obviously, the situation has not yet been resolved. The guy that's leaving has a 3-month notice. We have enough time to find a replacement and fix the whole situation. But the reality is that I stepped back from the company, stepped away from the company. And the stuff that I was supposed to handle were not actually handled. I went to work on marketing and sales and things like that. But this didn't happen because I was not working on them. And I'm a product person. My strength lies in developing products. I understand products. I understand the people using the products. So that's my forte. And I stepped away, but we didn't put anyone in the spot which I was taking. So no one actually did the work that I used to do. And apparently didn't do the work that I was telling everyone I'm doing. So it kind of created this vacuum in the company. And sure, people started getting confused. People started not realizing what's going on. And when people get confused, they get frustrated. They felt like they didn't have a channel of communication with me. They didn't feel like they could speak openly about their feelings and the situation in general from their perspective. And it's on me that I didn't spend time talking to them. And I'm not making excuses, but like I said, I was just away, basically, mentally, and my energy was off, obviously. And that's fine, I think. The problem is that I wasn't admitting it to myself and to the people in the company. So it created this disconnect, sort of. Right now, we did some damage control right before I left. I talked to everybody that I had to talk to. So I think the first step is done. Now the next step is, of course, fixing the situation, which is going back to our roots and what made the company great in the beginning and what made people want to join and work in the company in the beginning. I'm going back to that. I'm going to be spending more time working on the products right now, and I'm going to find people to handle the things that I was supposed to handle but actually never handled because, I was taking a break, like I mentioned multiple times in this video. So essentially, we're using this situation as an opportunity to rebuild, to get stronger. And I know employees are basically always going to come and go. It always hurts to lose a person that you've worked with for several years and gone through rough situations with them. But I think it's normal that this happens. You need to use situations like this as an opportunity to learn how to be better. And the third layer of the anxiety, and I don't know if you guys believe in karma and things like that. I've studied Buddhist philosophy for a while, and I wanted to understand what is the cause of this anxiety, the actual underlying layer, not the surface layers like the two that I just described. This type of anxiety that I had was coming from a lot of false promises and a lot of unfinished promises. Like, I don't know, just tell someone, okay, I'll call you without ever actually having the intention of doing so. Or I would read their message, but I would not respond for a week or something like that. And I was hiding behind this mask that I was so busy growing the company that, I was just using this as an excuse to ghost people and to gaslight people and things like that. So all these unfinished promises, all these unfinished conversations, all these open channels, basically, they create this anxiety because people are waiting for something from me and they don't have a way to control the situation. They don't have a way to make me respond faster or things like that, or they don't want to because they don't want to hurt me. So I'm kind of like unresponsive for whatever reason. And this creates this chain of unfinished business, which makes me feel anxious because I've made other people feel anxious in the past. So I quickly did some remedies there as well. I quickly responded to all the open conversations that I had at the time. So if you got a response out of the blue from me, now you know why I did it. I'm sorry for not responding sooner. I was just taking a mental break without telling anyone, even myself. I think that's enough for this video. I will share more about the tactical ways to solve a situation like this once I get back into it. And guys, let's do something together. If you are in a similar situation like me, so kind of like a fog, you know what I mean? Where you're kind of lying to yourself a little bit, but also lying to everyone else. Record a note to yourself, much like I'm doing with this video, where you share the situation, you share the story, but also share one concrete step that you plan to take in order to fix the situation this week. Not sometime in the future, but this week. Tag me under your videos, tag me under your posts. I'm Iliev AI, basically on every platform. Just tag me and I'll make sure to watch every video and then also potentially highlight some of your stories. Let's tackle this together, guys. Anyway, off to doing something fun here in Sicily. So, ciao and see you soon.